welcome to the Tradier Rundown. I am Jim Uriel. That's Bob Iacchino. We're the host of Tradier's The Trader's Edge that comes out at live Wednesdays, Chicago time, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock Eastern, and then is available on YouTube after. Bobby, how are you?
Good. I always find it amusing because I did it too, and I lived there for most of my life. We don't call it Central Time; we call it Chicago time.
No, I know. I always call it Chicago time, right? Exactly.
No,
in my mind, Chicago is the center of the universe. I'm not changing.
Certainly the center of Central Time. We can agree on that.
Exactly. It's the only real city. There's only one city in the Central Time Zone, I think. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Okay, you saw the action in Bitcoin today. I mean, it was staggering today.
Yep.
I was on Fox Business News this morning, and someone said, Bitcoin's at 57,000. I'm like, are you kidding? Have you blinked? It's at 59,000. Now it's at 61,000. It's quite amazing. And then there was a huge seller that went through. Coinbase shut down. What is the story we're seeing in Bitcoin? Why do you think it's having this Herculean run?
Well, look, fundamentally speaking, okay, I mean, if Bitcoin is going to work fundamentally, then you almost have to buy it right now if you're interested in that fundamental case. Now, I still think the case for Bitcoin comes down to a use case. If you're using it as a high beta play on asset safety, that's one thing. You certainly can go across a border or lose your U.S. citizenship, move to another country, and carry millions and millions of dollars in your pocket, right? Undetected, really. You're carrying a Bitcoin wallet. The issue is, I don't think that use case is proven. Now, I'm talking about issues when the thing is doing nothing but go up, right? The fact of it fundamentally is that 10,000 Bitcoin a day are being eaten up by the ETF quadrant. 10,000 a day in order to make their quota. But at some point, the people who don't have exposure to Bitcoin will wear down. They'll say, okay, this was my exposure. That's all I wanted to do. The question becomes, does that happen before the halving or after the halving? The halving, right now, 900 Bitcoin a day are being mined. Okay, once the halving comes, it goes to 450. If they're still piling on ETFs, if people are still getting into the Bitcoin ETFs and the Bitcoin ETFs are still buying Bitcoin, hello, 90,000.
Yeah. So I did a Twitter poll, and I like to do it because my Twitter family is mostly people in finance, traders, people in econ. And still 60% of the people said not in Bitcoin and don't really have much plans to get into Bitcoin. Does that segment have to wear down before it makes its leg to infinity and beyond?
No, I see that as the second leg. That's the post-use case leg to me, because there are people, I mean, you and I know a lot of them personally, who they're old in terms of age, not necessarily in terms of thinking, but they look at this and they say, I just don't see why we need it. And they're not going to go into it. That to me is the second case. That's the post 69, 70,000 new all-time high case. I think a lot of people that are speculating it, once it makes a new high, which it likely will, you and I think agree on that, we'll dump a lot of it. And then we'll see how much more of the ETF complex needs to be satisfied. I really think that's the key at this point in the short to medium term.
Okay, so last question. Is it a risk asset that reflects liquidity in the system, or is it an asset that reflects mistrust in the system?
I think it's the latter. I think it's absolutely the latter. Yeah, I think if the vast majority of the financial world trusted the banks and trusted, let's call a spade, trusted the U.S. government, Bitcoin would have no chance, no chance at all.
I agree with you. And you have me at mistrust of the stewardship of our fiat currency. I'm on board if that's really why we're buying it. Thank you, guys. This has been Tradier's Rundown. I'm Jim Uriel. That's Bob Iacchino. Please tune into our show. Airs at 3 o'clock Chicago time on Wednesdays. We will see you there.